Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
But one of the things is that Trump is going to spend, well, I'm just going by what they say. Say for him to do this celebration of the U.S., 250 years, they said starting out it's going to be $92 million.
Well, it's a vanity project. He, supposedly the story goes, he was in France for Bastille Day, which is their big celebration that they have annually for the end of World War I. And then you see something similar in Moscow that the USSR has to commemorate the end of World War II. They have tanks and planes and ammunition, all kind of artillery guns, and just a big display of militarism. He wants that here. And people have been saying that's anathema to U.S. values. We don't do things like that. We don't put the military out there and use it as a political front piece. But Trump is determined to do this.
Yes.
So this 250-year anniversary is his justification for him being able to stand in the stands and look like Putin's little boy and have the troops go by and salute him. He's a little petty wannabe dictator.
Yeah.
And this is all part of the vanity project, like I said at the beginning, to feed him.
Yeah, well, and most people who went out and voted for him, they had read, well, I won't say most, some had read about this 2025
Project 2025.
Project 25, But I guess they said, oh. In fact, I heard a couple of times on some different news. Guy was saying, "Oh, he's just talking. Oh, he's not going to do that."
Well, everything that was listed in Project 2025 has at least been attempted to be implemented, and you can't look at any of the machinations of the Trump administration and find something that's not alluded to in Project 2025. So it's plainly a blueprint from their desire to minimize the power of the government in the lives of everyday people, to the reinstitution of segregation and misogyny into the law, into cutting down on social services and making the military allowable on U.S. soil against the Posse Comitatus law. I mean, it's all right there in Project 2025. So I don't know that his voters read it. I don't think most of them read. And I think had they read it, they would have went to church and Pastor Pimp would have told him it's okay because he's doing this for Jesus. So they're not very politically sophisticated. They're more fans and constituents.
Yes.
So I wouldn't expect them to read it. And if they did read it, I wouldn't expect it to have any type of impact on them.
But look at something with that. They claim they're not doing this. Look at the people he surrounded himself with. How many of them are involved in writing Project 25?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Right, yeah.
You know what's more interesting to me than Project 2025, even though that's pivotal, is this framing of everything being DEI.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a failure,
I don't think some of them know what it means.
Well, well, of course they don't. But the point is, the implication is that DEI is based on people who aren't qualified,
Yes.
who don't have the expertise, who bring down the quality of the United States government and institutions that implement DEI. And then he surrounds himself with absolute clowns and incompetence.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we have DEI in the first place is so that qualified people,
Yes.
people who have expertise, education, experience, and training in a particular field get an opportunity despite the fact that they may have melanated skin or despite the fact that they may have genitalia of the female gender. DEI assures that they too get a fair shot instead of always being the good old boy white males.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know statistically the biggest beneficiary group of DEI has been white women.
Oh, yeah.
But now you can see in the absence of DEI, people like Pete Hegseth, who not only does not have the intellect, doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the training, doesn't have the temperament. The man's an alcoholic clown. And he's been caught repeatedly sharing
Secret
classified
information.
war plans on
Yes.
either his phone with the Signal app or on his computer. And you know, we've seen in the last few weeks, the Houthis have shot down like 7 multi-million-dollar U.S. drones. Well, starting to look like they may know when the punch is coming. You're seeing people in the U.S. intelligence service like this Gabby chick who who's known.
She's a Russian.
Tulsa Gabby, who's known as a Russian
asset.
functionary. And she's going to be in charge of our intelligence. So you can go on down the line and look at people who have no particular qualifications, no expertise, but Trump says they look like central casting. You know, they got the right look.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what that look is.
Yeah.
And that qualifies them for the
There-
job. But that's
there's
better
one
than
piece
DEI.
there, they're willing to bend the knee to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Suck up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Kiss the ring.
Your
Yeah.
biggest qualification right now to be working in Trump's administration is that you're willing to play the fool, kiss the ring, kiss behind, whatever it takes. And he likes that because did you see this picture of him they have there as the Pope Donald?
Yeah, the day after Francis's funeral, he puts out an AI-generated image of him dressed as the Pope.
Yeah.
And it's outraged Catholics all over the world. I mean, he's constantly outraging people.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right now,
Well,
he's got the
Catholics
Japanese.
like me, they voted for me.
Yeah,
So
they
I could be the Pope.
did, and a lot of them did.
They did.
And a lot of them are having that FAFO moment where, oh, what do we vote for?
Yeah.
Because this guy has no respect at all for
No.
your religious institution or what you believe, and he's showing you that. He's got the Japanese government telling him, look, man, you keep on threatening us. You keep on putting on these tariffs. We are the single biggest holder of U.S. Treasury notes. We will dump them and put your entire economy into a tailspin. Keep on messing around. And the Japanese have been nothing but unfailingly polite
Liar.
and really an ally of the United States when it comes to the United States geopolitical ambitions, no matter what kind of crazy plan someone like George W. Bush comes up with, or Dick Cheney or Trump. Japanese have been right there in lockstep since World War II.
Yeah.
Well, now they finally got the backbone to say, you know, enough's enough. You keep on, we're going to sell off your bonds, and then we'll see what you think about tariffs. You know, one more thing, man, that I saw this weekend that just cracked me up. He was being interviewed, and I don't watch the Sunday shows
60
anymore,
Minutes?
but no, it was
Meet the press.
Could have been Meet the Press.
Meet the Press.
It was an excerpt.
Yes.
I'm assuming it was Meet the Press. And he was bragging on the economy.
He was bragging on
bragging
I
on
was
the
going
economy.
to talk about
and,
that.
and the moderator said, this indicator is down, this indicator is down, this indicator is down. Consumer confidence. He said, well, that's Biden's economy. She said, wait a minute, you're saying that the economy was good because you're running it now. He said, well, the good parts are my economy. The bad parts are Biden's economy. Now, this man has the intellect. He's got a room temperature IQ. There's no question, man is stupid. He's dumb. And he's got the vocabulary and temperament of a 5th grade boy. So you tell him, your hand's in the cookie jar. you're going to be punished for that. That wasn't my hand. That was Joe's hand. You just thought it was mine.
You know,
So the good part of the economy is his, the bad part is Biden's.
look back. She should have brought up this to him. When you had your first term, Obama handed you a very good economy.
Mm-hmm.
In no time, it was down the drain.
Mm-hmm.
You come back, Joe Biden handed you off the greatest economy,
Yeah.
that the envy of the world.
Oh, yeah.
In 3 months, you destroyed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does that say about you and your business acumen and all the rest of it that it takes to run a country? He doesn't have any anyhow.
No, one thing about a fool, and that's, he proves over and over he's a fool, and he can see, and all of his people working for him can see, everything's bad now. Everything is bad now. You know?
Or hasn't gotten as bad as it's going to get.
Right.
I understand you saying they can see. But even those who might be able to see are not willing to say it is bad. They can pat him on the shoulder. Great job, Mr. President. Great job, Mr. President. And the place is being destroyed systematically by him and his group.
I heard a comment by Malcolm Nance, who's the former, I think he's naval intelligence, but he's a military guy of highly respected, highly accomplished, and he's a political social commentator now. And he used an analogy of the worldwide economy as a conga line. Remember those old Bug Bunny cartoons? They're doing the conga, and there's one after another, and they just go to circle, and it never stops.
Yep.
He said, well, May 10th, that last conga is going to hit, and there's nothing behind it. He said the last ships from China, which left pre-tariff April 2nd, laden with goods, a lot of them have been diverted away from the United States, but the ones that are coming are arriving on May 10th. Here's the scary part. There's nothing coming behind them. And that's where you had, if you guys recall, I think it was last week, maybe the week before last, you had the CEO of Walmart, CEO of Target, CEO of all these different companies sit down with Trump and try to have a Dutch uncle conversation with him. Like, look, dude, and he's recalcitrant. He couldn't be told anything. But May 10th, when that half full ship leaves and nothing else is coming behind it, and Betty and Ralph out in Charlotte, and Amy Sue and Clyde down in Leslie, and Billy Bob and Betty Lynn up there in St. John's go to the store, and there's nothing on the shelves.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, literally.
Can they blame that on Biden? Is that
it's Biden's fault.
Is that liberal policy?
That's Biden's fault.
Is that DEI truckers and boaters who couldn't do the job, who were incompetent, couldn't get it there? I mean, sooner or later, man, reality is going to have to slap people in the face, and they're going to have to be able to say, 1 + 1 looks like it does indeed equal 2. So you elect a clown, you get a circus.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a connection there.
Yeah.
And when we have empty shelves, that's a scary proposition, because not only does that mean you won't be able to consume, you won't be employed.
Right.
And you're not employed, you don't have income.
Right.
And no income, if even something is there, you can't buy.
How are you going to make the mortgage payment, the car payment?
Yeah.
So it could go into a spiral.
Yeah.
Right now, you have Chase Bank saying we have a 60% chance of recession.
Yep.
You have the National Bank of B of A, rather. They're talking about a 45% chance of recession. But what's hidden behind those numbers is the likelihood that if we have a recession, it's going to be a horrible recession, possibly bordering on a depression, because there's really no way out of this thing once it starts.
Right.
We can't manufacture our way out of it. We can't loan our way out of it. We can't borrow our way out of it. He's broken the back of the worldwide supply chain.
Yep.
And it's going to be hard putting that toothpaste back in the tube because of this fool's fundamental misunderstanding of what a tariff is, and because of this fool's fundamental insecurity about his intellect, and because of this fool's vainglorious image of himself as some kind of great man.
Yeah.
That's his personal stamp. This is a Trump cause economic catastrophe. There's no other reason.
No.
There's no COVID. There's no war. There's no drought. There's no famine. There's no war. There's no some type of terrorist catastrophe. Nothing. Everything was going like Paget just said a few minutes ago. The Economist said this is the Goldilocks economy.
Yes.
The Wall Street Journal said our economy is the envy of the world.
Yes, it was.
And here comes this dummy, backed up by millions of fools who watch Fox News, who think it's a good idea to put him in there. And now you see Nebraska farmers losing their soybean markets,
Kansas.
You're seeing the cattle ranchers losing their beef markets because that's, Brazil's more than happy to take care of all
just today on the news.
And China's saying, we don't really need you.
Right.
The worldwide economy can function without the United States. Newsflash.
Yeah.
Something they were talking about the American farmers. This person who saw on this farm everything there spoiling because nobody there to pick the crops.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of. They got rid of some, and those who are still around are afraid to go out. So nobody is there to reap the crops. So you know what's going to happen? Your 10-cent meat bone is now going to cost a quarter. Which means only 2 meals you're going to get, and then you're done.
The thing is that we didn't have a fool in there, man. We just got a fool in there. And we had somebody in there didn't know what they was doing, but they was trying to. But this fool, he thinks he knows everything.
Well, what he does know, he knows how to grift.
Yeah.
And he takes the Constitution's emoluments clause and wipes his behind with it. I mean, he's using the office to print up his own cryptocurrency, and he's got foreigners buying into it at rates of hundreds of millions at a time, directly putting money in his pocket. His special needs son is doing the same thing, and they're just like scoffing at the law that says you can't do this.
Yeah.
But again, we've got a hard stop coming on after May 10th, and then we've got Supreme Court cases where they've said, man, bring back this guy that you ship back to El Salvador.
I think they use the wrong word.
With no due process, and he's just ignoring them.
Yeah.
I think the Supreme Court used the wrong word, and they are using that to their advantage. They didn't say go and bring him back. They didn't say you have to.
They said effect.
Yeah?
They said affect his return.
Yeah. They basically want to assist. That's what it's amounting to.
Well, it's interpretation.
This
when
is
you
how
say
they are watching
If I tell you to affect me a 6-pack of beer, I'm expecting some beer.
I ain't bringing you no beer, though.
Oh, well, all right. Well,
You know what I mean.
Since let's say a 6-pack of milk, okay? I'm expecting some milk in my refrigerator.
Yeah, I know.
Now, you may go out and steal it. You may pay your nephew to go get it. You may put it on a line of credit and have it shipped to me, but it's going to be in my refrigerator.
But you see what's going on
But they're telling this
with
man
them.
to affect this man's return, and he went on TV the other day and said, "No, I haven't lifted a finger to do it."
Yeah.
But then he also said, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't get them
Yeah,
back.
and then he turns around again and says, "Oh, I can do it."
The guy said, okay, here's the phone. Use the phone. Call them.
Yeah. And his ego said, "I could do it if I wanted to."
A senator went down there, and what they call him, deputy prime minister or whatever he's supposed to be, vice president, whatever. He said the ball is in America's court. All they have to do is ask.
That's exactly right, but you could tell he doesn't want it. Another case that a lot of people may not be aware of it that's being decided today is you have a school district in Texas saying that they want to use public funds to fund their private Christian school.
Yes.
So the Supreme Court justice out of Notre Dame, what's her name? The woman that's the newest one. She recused herself.
Yes.
I'll give her credit for having that type of
because she's involved.
Yeah, well, because she's Catholic.
Yeah.
And she's heavily involved in some of these organizations, so she recused herself. So now you've got 5 Catholic conservative justices, and you've got 3 liberal justices who are going to decide a case that says whether or not public funding can go in for a religious purpose. Bright line violation of the Constitution.
But the Catholics tell them plain and straight, we're going to be teaching our stick.
Is John Roberts is going to say, I can't go that far. And it's a 4-4 split. It goes back, and the federal court told these people, no, you can't use federal money. Well, but that's just the opening salvo.
Well,
they're bound and determined, man, to bring in a Christo-nationalist government.
Well, it was
and then we'll be looking at what Germany did.
Well, there was a guy on a couple of nights ago. He was saying, we just want to, talking about the school getting the money. We just want to be treated like everybody else, you know. It's like getting this money, private school getting this money, and he was, and he never would. The guy was interviewing him. And he told, well, we just want to be treated like everybody else, you know.
No, everybody else goes to public school.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you see the same type of scam going on with a little twist with these so-called school vouchers.
Oh yeah.
Where you're taking public money and you're giving everybody, you know, a nominal voucher if you want to use it, say, $5,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Well, if you try to apply that to a private school, first thing you have to be admitted to that private school.
Yep.
And then that private school may charge $15,000 a year. So you got to come up with another $10,000 out of your pocket, Miss Working Class man and woman who's too busy working to come up with another $10K to send your child to a school for an education. He should be able to get in public schools. But you know who is using it? The people who can afford to send their children to private school.
Yep.
They're using those vouchers to minimize the cost to themselves.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $15K a year, they're only paying $10.
Yeah.
And they'll keep ratcheting it down
until
eventually it's
can't.
free. Yeah. And they're selecting the students who they can say, see how good we are?
Yeah.
Look how smart our kids are. And meanwhile, they leave the children who don't have the academic proficiencies
you see, some time ago here,
in the public schools.
They were talking about choice school of choice, sorry. They were saying school of choice. And I told them up there at City Hall, we don't need school of choice. We need choiced schools. If you make all the schools good, solid schools, you don't have to worry about whether I should leave here and go there. Because you leave here and go there, it's the same quality you get it. And they haven't done anything about it yet.
No, I don't think they will do anything about it because right here in Lansing, man, you know, you look at the schools out from Lansing. I mean, they have all these different programs going on, and right here in Lansing, I mean, it was really, when I was doing baseball, I would look at the kids here in Lansing. They'd come up, they'd be ready to play, and they got two bats for the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
Here's little Johnny coming from Wausau or someplace. He's got
three of his own, maybe 4.
Yeah, his own bats, you know. I mean, same thing about gloves.
Same thing with academics.
Yeah.
Same thing with academics.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I distinctly remember when my oldest daughter was coming along. She might have been 7th, 8th grade, and it was obvious she was an academic superstar. She started getting recruited by private schools. Mm-hmm. And this representative of Cranbrook came to our house and said that he wanted our daughter to come to school and they would cover all the costs. And I said, okay, so what's this entail? They wanted us to let her live in suburban Detroit, 24/7 in some dorm, and we see her on the weekends and holidays, and they give her this world-class education. And I said, now, that child is the most precious thing in the world to us. We love her.
Mm-hmm.
We love her voice.
Mm-hmm.
We love her presence in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We love her telling us how school went today.
Mm-hmm.
We love reading her bedtime story.
Yeah.
Why would we forego that
Yeah.
to give you money from some source that isn't ours to say that you got EC? We even got little Negroes in here.
Yeah.
Okay? So she went on ahead and went to Waverly Middle School and Waverly High School and University of Michigan, magna cum laude, and next week she's getting a PhD from Cal Berkeley. She didn't need Cranberry. She needed loving family and friends and a house full of books and examples of how to sit down and study.
Yeah.
But they will take our best and brightest.
Yeah.
That has always been the plan.
Yeah.
Leave the rest behind, and then say, well, you guys just don't have the necessities.
Now the problem is, when we talk about education, it is not education for the masses. It's education for the few, for the massa.
Yeah.
Massa, they done. And people here, black people here got to learn. Massa, they done long time. It's it time you take your butts up and do what you can to help yourself and stop pussyfooting on the people like Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yes.
And demand equity.
That's
you know,
right.
the thing we talk about with equity and inclusion, diversity is the first part, but equity means I want what you have out there in Oklahoma.
Equal.
Yeah.
I want Everett High School to
Yeah.
have the same access to computer labs and top-notch teachers and a safe environment that Okemos has. That's equity.
Right.
And then I want to be included in everything that you have going
Yeah.
on. That means that my tax dollars shouldn't be thrown into a bucket because property taxes aren't equal here as they are in Okemos.
Yeah.
So the idea that we see academic stunting in our communities because it's being starved. One thing I will say about pre-integration, when schools are segregated, and you had the big public schools in Indianapolis, in Detroit, in Pittsburgh, and ad infinitum, you saw academic excellence in the black community. You can name individual after individual who went on to become an intellectual or a musician or an athlete or an artist, and they came from schools that were all black, and they didn't seem to suffer from some type of miseducation.
What has changed?
Well,
What has changed is the schools aren't funded to the same extent that they were.
And why not? Look at the teachers they have there now. How many of them are really into teaching the people?
Well, Malcolm.
Lots of them in there are only there.
I can't blame it on the teachers.
Malcolm X
I
said
say
it.
all. Some.
But-
But if you have half of the staff interested in making sure you get a good education, and the other half, you're going to have a halfway education.
Well, one of the things is that when I was going to school, I went from pre-primary back then. They don't have pre-primary now, but anyway, all the way to second year in college. All the way up, I had black teachers, and those black teachers, hey, they were for you studying, and one of the things now is that we don't see a lot of black teachers. We just don't.
Well, what we see today, if you go to any school at random and open up the door, 8 chances out of 10 it's going to be a white woman, especially at the younger grades.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a problem with white women teaching.
I
have a problem with people who don't understand the community that they're in
That's a big issue.
and know the culture and can relate to the children.
Listen, man, I put
And
in
on
some
top of that,
years.
man, when you add poverty, you add all the social maladies that are involved in this country, it's going to be difficult for a lot of kids to get a good education.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it It seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power. And I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.